I want to
Yeah.
talk specifically in this next question about Black youth. Black youth are least likely, and this is another one that struck me as I was doing a little research. Black youth are least likely among all ethnic subgroups to live with a parent or a guardian. What role, I'm wondering for the panel today, what role can family play in turning this homelessness crisis around? Is it time, for instance, for us to lean back into the village? The old cliche, it takes a village to raise a child. It broke my heart to hear that our African American youth are out there in the largest numbers. Do we need to lean back into that village? And do you have suggestions, maybe from you, Ted, or anyone on the panel? What can families do that are struggling to kind of hold ourselves together and keep our youth from being out there on the streets fending for themselves? Ted,
Um,
maybe you. Do you have any thoughts about that?
uh, I think, I mean, I kind of have one thought. I mean, personally speaking, so my parents are in Kenya, and unfortunately, they're not the most supportive. But from what I've seen, I think that if they're just somewhat proactive, I think that depending on whatever their child needs, whatever care, if it's mental health or emotional and or some sort of physical help or whatever the case may be, I think just being proactive. I remember when I was at the children's hospital, and I think these two uh, just youth members. I remember seeing them in like a group, focus group kind of thing, and they came with their moms, and just some of the way that the moms just seem so supportive, and because I'd said hi to them, because I'd seen them in the group, but just the conversations they were having and seeing how supportive the moms were, and they were black, so people of color. Just seeing that, it just made me think like, wow, if I had a mom that was that active, like especially knowing like if your child's LGBT and you're actually going out there with them to whether it's STD testing or these LGBT related appointments or groups. What I think just some sort of proactiveness and just showing support. Like, hey, if you need me to go with you, I can go with you. I feel like that's more emotional. I don't know. Let me know if you feel that is more like mental and emotional help. But I think just being somewhat proactive and just showing that, if you need me to help you with this, I will help you with this kind of thing to kind of build someone. That's just something that kind of jumped in my head when I saw some stuff like that.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
supported. Yeah. Yeah.
You got us right into that next question. You mentioned LGBTQ plus youth. And so I want to get into that. We can't talk about homelessness and youth without talking about LGBTQ plus youth of color. A disproportionate number of that population winds up homeless, leaving them susceptible to everything that we've been talking about. And in my estimation, it's because we as elders, seniors, adults, families, we have let our youth down. We are throwing them out of the only homes they've ever known because of who they choose to love, because of their not even choose to love, because of who they are. Um, how and why are we letting our youth down in this way? Julio, talk about it, man. I know it's personal for you too. We are letting our youth down. Talk about it.
I think that it's understanding what, um, God, how can I put it into into simple words? It's about education and historical trauma and being ready to be present at all times, right? Historically, we have been forced to break families, whether we're Native, we're Black. Our families were broken and taken apart and forced to not be present. So there's a readiness to disengage, and there is a lack of education about what it means to be a gay kid, right? Or a lesbian, or wherever you fall in the LGBTQ spectrum. And parents sometimes don't understand, or the adults, that it's not a choice, and also that it's not an easy path. And looking up to the grown-ups and say, hey, this is who I am, in itself is a very scary thing.
Mm.